Today we have myself, Barry. We have Justin. Say hi, Justin.
Hello.
And this evening we're going to be discussing the previews we've already seen, which is actually quite a good get through as far as we could today, or a good chunk of it anyway, be able to off the rest. So, how are you today? What have you been up to for the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, pretty well. You know, just the usual, this and that, these and those. Looking forward to WarpCon, which we'll get to at the end of the show, I think. But just playing a few more games, enjoying things, looking forward very much to Children of the Empire.
I managed to get a few games in myself over the weekend as well, being actually able to play real-life games. Preparation for a big tournament, I hear, is good.
Yeah, it's it's not overrated. You know, it's not overrated. So how are you finding New Dragon with the restricted list?
It is almost identical to Old Dragon. There really, really is very little change.
Okay, well that's a good thing, I guess.
I had at the end of Christmas, I'd said to myself, all right, I'm going to get in a good few games. I'm going to hit Jigoku, practice, and I got a few games in, but unfortunately nowhere near the practice I needed. So this upcoming weekend, the plan is just to head down to WarpCon, play some games, have some fun. Definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fairness, you know, if you over practice, you definitely lose that edge of terror, the real kind of, you know, adrenaline high that will push you further than you thought you could ever go.
And I've been told that the surprise element can be important in these matchups, and I'll be surprised during most of the matchups. I think that's definitely on my.
Oh, absolutely. You know, there's no better feeling than when your opponent flips a card and you go, "I'm sorry, that could you?"
We've got a reader.
Yeah. Okay, so will we?
Well, we're working up to it. We're working up to it. I want to
Oh,
keep the anticipation.
okay.
So the other things we've seen is we've seen a few more of the previews. A couple of the different media sources have had some of the previews sent to them, which is great. We've seen the more Unicorn Pack one. We've seen Masters of the Court. We didn't get to see an announcement of a book yet, which leads people to suspect that the books could not be. That the original intention was to have the book with the clan pack as we went, but now that they've accelerated the clan packs, they're not really able to tell the writers to hurry up and get it done.
But that's okay. You know, the people will just have to wait. I mean, there are bigger concerns as well. Like, obviously, they have their entire fiction kind of schedule planned out. There's just a different plan at work there.
All right, let's get kicked into Children of the Empire. The first thing I want to talk about is we're going to try cover this in a roughly kind of thematic manner. The breakdown that I found, or I figured we'd try work our way through. One of the big ones, obviously, is Dueling. Then you've got Bidding, which kind of connects to the next one of Honor. So the Dueling and Bidding and Honor are all kind of linked and intertwined. I think they're really the kind of core concepts that we're seeing in this. Then there's a chunk of support for some of the sub-teams. Then you've got a bunch of new provinces and a lot of really, really, really cool, unique characters. Every clan got one of the big notable story characters from old fiction, and all of those characters are. Let's kick straight into duels. So yeah, the first thing we're going to have a look at are the duels, and specifically the challenger characters. There is a range of 2-cost characters. So starting with the Crab, you've got a 2-cost, 2 military, zip political, and when you're less honorable than your opponent, you get +1 military. So essentially it's 3 military for 2-cost. And then action during a conflict, initiate a military duel, resolve the duel, put 1 fate on the duel's winner. The Courtly Challenger is for the Crane, they're kind of the opposite, so political focused. When they win a duel, you get to honor it. Whenever they lose a duel, you dishonor them. During a conflict, initiate a political duel, resolve the duel. The controller of the duel's winner draws 2 cards, which is great. the Dragon one, which recently came out, and actually our timing of switching to a Thursday evening is working out quite well. So it's a 2-cost, 2/2, but it does have courtesy, so it's essentially a 1-cost. During a conflict, initiate a military duel, resolve the duel, just choose an attachment attached to the duel loser and discard it. Honorable Challenger is a 2-cost, 2/1 with 2 glory for the line. It has pride. Action during a conflict, initiate a military duel, resolve the duel. Winner does not bow as a result of conflict's resolution. Your Challenger, 2-cost, 1/2 with 2 glory. Composure. So we'll get into the Composure parts a bit later, but when you bid lower, essentially, +2 here. Action during a conflict, initiate a political duel, resolve the duel. Duel's winner is immune to defense on conflict. Actually, can both ways, winning. Scorpion, get the 2-cost, 1/3 0 Courtier duelist. So Courtier trait and 0 glory is kind of nice for them. And when you win a conflict, gain 1 honor. When you lose a conflict, lose 1 honor. The duel is action during a conflict, initiate a political duel, resolve the duel. Treat that printed text box of the duel's loser as if it was blank, except for traits at the end of the conflict. And then Honest Challenger is a Unicorn 1. Cost 2/2 with 1 glory. Composure again, that gives +2 military. And during the conflict, initiate a military duel, resolve the duel. Controller of the duel winner, character from his home area to the conflict. So again, winning and losing it can be quite useful. So, what do you think of the range of...
I mean, it's a group of characters. I don't think altogether too many of them particularly good, or at least I don't think they're good enough to break into competitive decks.
Yeah, so it definitely does seem to have been an intentional choice on the design's path to make all these characters 2. 2 is arguably the worst cost for any character, because it's still in the Assassinate range. It is twice as expensive as your 1-cost character.
Yeah, you can't really kind of pile fate onto guys and and feel good about it, especially in the early game. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's all the challengers. There were 2 interesting holdings that have appeared. These appeared in yesterday's article, which is the Kikita Dojo and the Muramoto Dojo. Both of them give +1 province strength. They're both holdings. They're both action during a conflict, initiate a military duel and resolve the duel. For the Dragon one, it is move 1 fate from the duel's loser to the winner's fate pool. And if the winner is a duelist, discard a fate instead. And for the Kikita Dojo, it is until the end of the conflict, the duel's loser cannot trigger its abilities. And if the duel's winner is a duelist, bow the duel. They're both tying up your province. They're not really giving much province strength. They're both giving you an extra action. Now you can use this on the defense or an attack. Military, you can use political. So there definitely are options. The Kikita Dojo is immediately more effective, I think. If you manage to win your duel, resolve the effect, presumably you're bowing them out, or at worst you're getting a Cloud of the Mind effect if you don't have a duelist. For the Dragon one, it's all about the future. So you're removing fate. That isn't going to help you in the conflict as is. This combos best with Ratsugu, where you first use the Muramoto Dojo to remove a fate, then they're down to no fate. And back it up with Muramoto Ratsugu and take out that second fate. Now they've got no fate, rather, once you win Ratsugu's duel, then you can actually remove them from the conflict. Much higher impact. They're both cool. I have to admit, I quite like them. And they're both quite thematic for the 2 different dojos. I think I prefer the Kikita Dojo, purely because the Muramoto Dojo already has an equivalent. We've already had Secluded Sanctuary from the base. And while it was played a little bit, it didn't stick around. Even once we kind of moved into this fate economy game that is quite popular at the moment. So the Muramoto Dojo, in theory, you get to actually choose who you're going to trigger it against. You work out who you're going to remove the fate from. But at the same time, because it's a duel, you're somewhat limited. The Kikita Dojo bowing abilities are strong. This is what helps you win conflicts. And if that conflict win happens to be a void conflict when you're on the attack, you get to remove that fate as well. So, yeah, personally, I'm a bit more of a fan of the Kikita Dojo. Any comments on that, Justin? What do you think?
I don't know. I think both are. I think both are strong, actually. If anything, I might come down on the Muramoto dojo. I think that is overall. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the Kakita's a more impressive immediate effect. We always guarantee that, first of all, that the character that you're dueling, and hopefully the loser, is going to have an ability. And second of all, you can always be guaranteed going to have a duelist involved in the duel to trigger the bowing. If you duelist, I would say Kakita Dojo is absolutely stronger. If you don't have a duelist, I would say the Muramoto Dojo is stronger.
Fair point.
So yeah, I mean, but I think they're comparable in terms of power. I think they're both very strong, actually. I think they'll both be. I mean, they both will be prime targets when they hit the table. And maybe from that point, maybe the Kakita Dojo is just that tiny bit stronger because it can defend itself effectively. But the impact of the Muramoto Dojo is going to be a bit more significant over the top, or it could be. So yeah, no, they're both strong holdings, and I'm sure both will find a place in their respective decks.
And one of the great things about dueling cards is we know they will see play regardless of any particular power levels. All right, let's have a quick look through some of the other cards we have here, and we might skip a little bit faster through them unless there's one in particular you want to kind of focus on. First one we have is Yatsu Master, which is a 1-cost 1/1. Will only attach to a duelist. It's attachment. And ability is reaction after honor jewels are revealed during a duel, which the attached character is participating. Increase or decrease your value to, or by 1 to a minimum of 1. So you can essentially bid 0, or you can bid 6. You have a minimum of 1.
Yeah.
Minimum of 0. You could, in theory, stack 3 of these on one character, so they could bid all the way up to 8 if you wanted. But that way it might seem like mad.
Good.
Bidding down to 0 is a little bit more interesting because you essentially guarantee yourself a point of honor.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's what this card really is. It's a way of gaining honor or away from your opponent. So, like, you can talk about kind of winning and losing duels all you want, but on the assumption that you want to win a duel, what does it mean that you are going to win a duel by the absolute minimum or as close to the minimum as you can get? So the ability is effectively gaining you 1 honor. That's what it does. So it's it's like
Travis
kind of like
it's like a watch. Travis is saying in the chat, it's like a watch commander.
That would be.
I can see arguments where it would be worse than Watch Commander, because obviously with Watch Commander you're just waiting for your opponent to do something. But in theory you could proactively use this as a Watch Commander. Like, you can dump 2 or 3 jewels, you can essentially guarantee
you
2 or 3 honor.
You can't, because it's a reaction. It's a reaction. So just once per turn.
That's true.
In fairness, this like a properly balanced version of Watch Commander's ability should have been a reaction. It shouldn't be an unlimited thing at all, because that's horse crap. Or it should have like a max to a turn anyway. That's neither here nor there. But this is basically an honor. Like, I would look at this as an honor gaining attachment.
That makes sense.
For crane dueling.
Sure, we'll see some play. The next one I have in the list is the Muramoto's Daisho, which, how we've been talking about it, is essentially the same. So instead of a 1-cost 1/1 attachment, the 2-cost 2/2 attachment. It is double restricted if they've added a extra clause to it. So you can only have Muramoto's Daisho. You cannot have any other restricted weapons, which could actually be a bit of a pain. And while attached characters dueling, your opponent cannot bid 1 or 5. So you can bid 1, and your opponent has to bid 2. That 1 honor. Doubling this up with the Kakita, or with the Yatsu Master, means you can bid 0, and your opponent is forced to bid 2, which is kind of nice. And because the Yatsu Master is a skill rather than restricted attachment, rather than a weapon, it's good to go. It's kind of nice. Different approaches, but similar styles. Yeah,
absolutely. And again, that's kind of cool. It fits into the lore of the massive rivalry between the Miyamoto school and the Kikita school, with the ultimate aim, of course, being the exact same, which is to win. But yeah, they just go about it two different ways. And like the ooze's flavor, it's the fact, just it's 2 for 2 that makes it unplayable from the get go because it's a 2-phase attachment, which is a shame. But the fact, not being at 1 or 5, you've got the whole thing of like the twin sword technique and stuff like that.
Of course, it had to be 2 because it's a Miyamoto card, so it had to be 2.
Yes, absolutely. The curse of the dragon. I'm just waiting for the paradox of the triple restricted way. What happens then?
Oh, I think we do know what that. You basically have to destroy stuff till you.
Oh no, I know. Never mind. Bad joke.
Okay. Yeah, now I.
Yeah.
All right. The next one is a line attachment again in the duels. This one actually has a rather than meddling with your duel. So this is a 1-cost 0/0. Attached character gains action during a conflict. Initiate a military duel. Resolve the duel using each character's base military instead of their total military skill for the duel. Bow the duel's loser. And the card is called True Strike Kenjutsu. The line less interested in winning the duel and more interested in just pummeling your opponents. I like this card a lot.
Yeah, this card is superb. Lion characters are already heavily skewed toward high base military, and this just gives you a means of pushing people into the dirt as you roll over their provinces. So it's just great. Like, it's a terrifying card. I mean, if you get this on someone like
stick on Tutori.
Yeah,
wonderfully.
If you get this on someone.
It also works with Way of the Line, because Way of the Line modifies your base. So if you wave the line to Turi up to his 12 military, you pick someone.
Steamroll everybody. So this card is genuinely superb. We'll see tons and tons of play. It's just an amazing card.
And because of the way it's set up, it does actually mean the line are able to take out those crane and dragon geared up duels, because you ignore all the weapons, you ignore everything except for that base skill.
Yep, it's very good.
Next one we have is a unicorn card. So it is a 0-cost event. Challenge on the field. Action during a conflict. Initiate a military duel. Resolve the duel, giving each dueling character +1 military for each other participating character controlled by the same player till the end of the duel. Move the duel's loser home. So this is a classic example of the unicorn not quite understanding how Rokugan works. I mean, really, guys, duels are supposed to be 2 people, not you, your horse, and all of your buddies.
It's the coward's way. But this is fine. Yeah, obviously, this is a support piece for like lots of little water spirits from the river flying around on your side of the field. Then you challenge on the fields. Your guy gets a normal home. So, and it's one that you can also potentially deliberately lose in order to move a character out of a conflict in order to use them in a different conflict. So it's got that.
This is kind of showing the way design are approaching duels here. This card, I believe, already exists in some form or another, but is normally 1 fate. Like, you have some conditions, pay 1 fate, and you send home an opposing character. In this case, you don't need to pay that fate. Have the event for 0, but you need to do a little bit of setup, or maybe risk it a bit. Get into that duel, maybe gamble, see what your opponent's going to bid. Is it going to be high or low? Might win the duel, you might not. Or obviously, just guarantee it by overwhelming your opponent, having tons on your side, so you're getting all those +1 military bonuses, making.
Yeah. it's a good card. I like it.
And then the last one we have on this list is Stay Your Hand. This is a zero-cost new. I like that they've included this in the pack, in the dueling pack. They seem to do this with a lot of new themes they bring in. This is interrupt when an opponent initiates a duel that targets character you control. Cancel the duel. Quote is another time, perhaps. Very specific meta.
Yeah, it is very specific meta. The flavor text is reference to an old 5R card called, which was played as a focus card and ended a duel. So this is very much a nod to that old card. And yeah, it's a counterspell that cancels duels. So if we see a very dueling meta, then this card is absolutely going to have a place because it's a counterspell. Doesn't have a lot of setup. That said, the chances of a meta game existing where dueling is played across all seems a little too remote. So the absolute specificity of this card is going to, probably rule it out. So it's a good card, but the fact that it's utterly specific means it is not going to see play.
Yeah, absolutely. So these are the kind of cards we've picked out, and there are a few other cards that we're not looking at yet in the overall all dueling. We might get to some of them later. But based on this, how do you think this design has done with dueling? Dueling has always been quite controversial, largely because there are a large enough group of players who love dueling. That dueling is very in setting, it's very cool and flavorful. If you're able to get your character set up and win some duels, it can be, it can be real feel good. But often for the opponent, a lot of the time, all they see is this big super jeweler, just wades in and murders everything. So I know we had a lot of backlash to we haven't played that in a while. What's the duel that we had before that hit the restricted list?
Sorry, policy debate.
Policy debate. Thank you. Yes, and obviously a lot of people felt really bad about that. How do you think people will feel about dueling after this?
Yeah, I don't think they've done an amazing, but I think they've done an interesting job. Like I said, I do like the challengers. I do like how the challengers are designed. It's because dueling relies on is basically an honor manipulation mechanic, or has an honor manipulation mechanic involved in it, and a bid mechanic and an honor bid mechanic. It's directly tied to both honor and dishonor victory conditions. Now, dishonor is established at this stage. Honor is still being developed. Yeah, it's going to be very hard to judge dueling as a full mechanic until we are in a situation where we actually do get to see how honor decks work and how they function and they are to play and play against. But yeah, in terms of they've certainly it doesn't seem like they've produced cards so powerful that there is no room to make better duels in the future, which is a good thing. But at the same time, because they haven't produced overwhelmingly powerful cards, like incredibly powerful cards, like we haven't seen anything like policy debate. So, are those cards going to be good enough to find their way into top tier competitive decks?
Yeah.
So that's the question. So
and
the jury is.
Once we start dueling, will policy debates start heading back into decks?
They very well might. I mean, once the support is there for them, and once you can benefit even more from policy debates, then yeah, it's very possible that dueling will. That it's very possible, yeah, the policy debate will see more play.
All right, but I think I maybe asked you that question a little bit too early, maybe, because as you point out, dueling isn't really self-enclosed. We need to have a look at a few more cards. So the next thing we're going to look at is bidding. And the first few cards we're going to look at here are Composure. So Composure is a new trait keyword. New keyword. Where you have Composure, so the player has Composure if your honor bid is lower than an opponent's. Seen a few cards. So we've seen Stone of War, which is a 3-cost 3/2 with 1 glory, has Composure, is a Bushi, and while you have Composure, this character cannot lose fate or be discarded. Let's skip on to.
Yeah, well, we just go through them one by one rather than dumping everything at once.
Yeah, go for that.
Okay. Yeah, this card is garbage. Yeah, it is. It's really unfortunate, but it's garbage. If this card had cost 2, it would be interesting because then Composure would at least protect you from assassination. But as it stands, 3 fate for an effectively blank 3/2 is just shockingly bad. I mean, what's the 3/2 that gets 2 fate if you've got a bunch of Bushi in play already? Is it Biona or something like that?
Yeah,
Matsu
Biona.
Yeah, she doesn't see play, and she's better than this guy. So
that's true. Yeah, it's very true. All right, so let's skip on. So this was the Composure is a nice idea, but this first one maybe is a hit or a miss. Definitely a miss. Okay,
it's definitely a miss.
All right, so we've mentioned some of the duelers already, or some of the challengers. This is the Phoenix Jeweler, which is the Sincere Challenger. It cost 1/2 with 2 glory. It is a courtier and a duelist. I think we mentioned already, is a political duel, but this character does have Composure and gets +2 politics while with Composure. So this is a 2-cost 4 political, in theory, courtier for Phoenix. Does that see play in Phoenix?
It might. I mean, a 4/1 for 2 is nothing to be sniffed at. That, I mean, like a province breaker for 2. That's ridiculously good. The duel is meh.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Like, I don't see a had Composure. Don't think you would ever use the duel.
So one of the ways we've heard of the duel being used is to intentionally lose it, meaning your opponent can no longer play events on their character. Might be a bit niche, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, if your clairvoyance and capacity to see the future is super strong, then that is definitely a possibility. No, really, I just this guy is a 4/1 for 2 or a 1/4 for 2 if you've got Composure. So. Yeah, it's it could see play. It could definitely see play. I think like the one strike against Composure is that I'm not sure it actually does anything to alter the 1/5 bid. The 1/5 bid meta that we've got.
Would you not consider bidding 4?
Maybe. I don't know.
Like
but the thing is, like, the thing is.
Go on.
But the thing is, if like you can take a look at the board state and you can make a pretty good guess or analysis as to whether it's really important to have Composure or not. And if it's not important to have Composure, then you're gonna bid 5. If it's really important that you have Composure or your opponent doesn't have Composure, then you're going to bid 1. So. I definitely, it's definitely going to shift the needle. It's going to move the needle a little bit, but I'm not sure it does enough I don't think it upends the 1/5 bid meta. But certainly situationally, it could change.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're kind of looking for. We're looking for cases where you have to look at the board, you have to make decisions. But I think if you had 2 Sincere Challengers on the board, bidding 4 instead of 5 would get you an essentially +4 politics on the board. That's pretty stonking. That's pretty good.
Oh no, absolutely, it's very, very good. Or it could lose you as your opponent bids 1, which may also be super good because you get to draw 3 extra cards. I mean, I'm not saying that Composure is rubbish, because I don't think it is at all. And certainly situationally, it could be, fantastically interesting as to which way players go on the board. But I would have to also say that I think it's a very good thing that Composure isn't as dominant or defining a mechanic as it could be, because that leaves. It leaves more room for further fine-tuning, which is a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one we have is the Social Puppeteer, a 3-cost character for Scorpion, 1 military, 3 politics, 1 glory, and courtier, has Composure, and the character must be chosen as a target of an opponent's event if able, have Composure. And as an action, during a conflict in which this character is participating, switch honor dials with your opponent until your next honor bit. So this is a character that can take Composure.
Yeah, this is horseshit. Like this card embodies just about everything I hate about early L5R design. It's an absolute train wreck of a card from a design point of view.
Explain.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's like the Composure effect is grossly overpowered. It's an open-ended ability that completely shuts down, or potentially completely shuts down an opponent's hand on a character that costs 3. And like, as if that wasn't good enough, it's got an ability that allows it to turn on its completely grotesque ability. Like, I'm not sure if the thing is, I'm not sure if this is an overpowered card, but this is a terribly designed card. Because it's just not a lot of, I'm just not a fan of design like this. But anyway, that said, it's a fine card. It's a perfectly fine card. If you compare it to the Lion character, who is also costs 3, then Social Puppeteer is just vastly superior. And yeah, I mean,
so do you think that there's a temptation for the design team to make better Scorpion cards because it's so hard to get Scorpion cards in?
No, well, I don't think it's necessarily a temptation, but certainly with kind of factions that are supposed to be super, super tricksy, there's always a temptation to do something a little bit out there and a little bit more, a little bit unusual, a little bit strange, kind of push the boundaries a little bit with design. And that can be a fantastic thing, and it can also be a pretty bad thing at times. So, I mean, as I said, honestly, it's probably a case this card remotely as bad as I'm saying in practice. But I just, when you see things like this character can potentially, unrestrictedly demolish an entire player's hand with basically no outs, and also has an ability to turn that on. It's just like, Jesus, who thought this was a good idea? Why would you ever think this was a good idea?
There can be certain hands that you'll have that essentially this is a free cost guest of honor, because you really just can't play the cards.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I would hasten to add also, but that's going to be super, super rare. It's going to, and because you can't tell ahead of time, because it doesn't have the guaranteed effect of something like Guest of Honor, that it's vastly worse because of that, because you don't have this. So this is probably not a ridiculously overpowered card, or it may not even be a good card.
It's probably a little bit too expensive for the Scorpion deck currently.
Yeah, but the way it's designed is, just rubs me up the wrong way completely.
So there are kind of two things that are important to me for this. This lets the Scorpion play Composure and play it relatively reliably, because if they bid a weird number, like if they bid 4 or 2 or something, chances are their opponent isn't going to have the same number. So if they can get, so as long as they get this character into a conflict and get an action of it, they can activate their Composure if they don't already have it. So that's cool for the Scorpion, because it means that they can bid high, like the Scorpion, I guess, were designed to do, lose all their honor, do all those things, but still benefit from Composure. Now the flip side of that, when you're facing against a Social Puppeteer, wanted to use your Composure, you're going to struggle. You're going to hope that you can trigger those Composure effects before the Social Puppeteer can get that action off. A little frustrating that no matter what you bid, unless you manage to get spot on the exact same as your Scorpion opponent, you're not going to be able to hold on to Composure.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, and there are other cards that there's like I Can Swim potentially, and stuff like that could be switched on with a card like this. I mean, the fact that you can just switch your dial again, if you haven't bid exactly the same number,
then the Scorpion player can guaranteed or be guaranteed to turn on things like I can. So yeah, like I'm there's as I said, this probably isn't a super overpowered card, but there's just enough about it that I think is badly thought out that makes me really annoyed with it.
Yeah, like these. Yeah, I'm not even sure this card sees play, to be honest, unless there's some specific combos that are looking for. I doubt.
Yeah, like I can swim. I can swim is probably actually the biggest one.
Just to reliably play that.
Yeah, but then there are going to be situations where it's just annoying as hell because of its ability. Anyway, neither here nor there.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's more a design philosophy thing that we're looking at as a frustrated runner.
It is a design philosophy thing purely. Like I don't think it's an overpowered card, but I still hate it.
So we've briefly mentioned Honest Challenger already, so I'm just going to mention that it does have Composure, a much simpler one, just +2 military. So this is similar to the Phoenix Challenger in that this is a 2-cost 4 military character if they can retain Composure. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. And we already know the dual ability, if you can win it or even lose it, is pretty good.
Yeah, super good card. Honest Challenger is great.
Unicorn also have another card that meddles around with bidding. But the Ide Negotiator, which is 3-cost 2/3 with 1 glory. Great stats. Courtier and Cavalry. They like Cavalry. The Courtier, Unicorn have been kind of spread across multiple different traits, but Courtier has been relatively successful for them. I know Shigenja's been getting a big boost lately. I'm not upset to see more Courtiers for them. Reaction: after you reveal your honor dial, change the bid on your dial to a value 1 higher or 1 lower than the current value to a minimum of 1 and to a maximum of 5. So that's a lot more control that they have. So they can bid 5, and if their opponent bids 5, they can switch it to 4, get Composure.
Yeah.
Or even if they bid 3, they can go to 2 or 4 if they need to. Pretty much, maximizing the effect that they're looking for.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, like, if you're playing, it makes bids of 4 and 2 super tempting for Unicorn when she's on the table, because you can go up to 5, down to 3 on a bid of 4. You can go down to 1, up to 3 on a bid of 2, which gives you a huge amount, like a significant amount of scope in how you manage your bids for the turn. So yeah, I mean, is the ability going to be impactful enough? I'm not sure.
If you just bid the right number in the first place, you wouldn't need the ability.
Well, that's it. You just got to be psychic.
Yeah.
In all situations.
Base requirement.
But I mean, again, it's a really interesting card. Like, if we see more cards that revolve around the bid numbers on dials, then she becomes very, very powerful potentially. So I do like her, but I don't think she's good enough to make it into decks at the moment. I think Unicorn's competitive deck is so packed that finding space for stuff is pretty tough.
It's Marcus commenting that it'll also be quite good with Dueling. But I wonder how good that's going to be, because if you're still limited to your 1 to 5 bid, you're not able to really push beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, but it's an honor game mechanic again. All these kind of things that manipulate honor dials. I mean, obviously you've got some potentially you can manipulate your card draw with this, but it's an honor manipulation technique.
Well, would you not just bid high anyway? Oh, I see. So you can bid high and then pull back if your opponent bids low, or vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but the thing is, like, there are a bunch of other kind of cards that will interact with what is on your dial. Like, you do have Composure, you do have things like I Can Swim, but at a fundamental level, these cards are all about their honor manipulation stuff, because that's the fundamental game resource that you're dealing with when you're talking about mechanics like this.
I think this is a card that is better for people who aren't psychic, so it's not going to see competitive play. Where all the top players are obviously known.
Absolutely.
All right, here's a slight divergence from the high or low. This is Karmic Balance. It is a dragon event, 2-cost. It is a philosophy. Play only if your honor bid is equal to an opponent's, which is quite interesting. An action, each player shuffles his or her hand into the conflict discard pile with his or her conflict deck and draws 4 cards. Remove this card from the game. So this has been suggested that it is an event version of Restoration of Balance. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I suppose if you're going by the wording, sure. But I mean, it's the thing. The thing with restoration is that is an asymmetric effect. It hits your opponent and does not hit you. This is a symmetric effect, and symmetric effects generally have to be amazing to see play because it's costing you a card slot to put it in your deck. And in this case, it's costing you 2 fate to play. It's got an additional restriction, which play only if your honor equal. And then if you're going to make anything out of it, your opponent really needs to have significantly more cards in their hand than you do when it's played, which are so many restrictions that this is basically garbage. Just a terrible card. I mean, maybe there's a situation, maybe there's I'm just struggling to see.
So I quite like this
where
card.
This.
I think this is cool. You're absolutely right about the play only if the bid is equal. If that wasn't there, it would be a fantastic card where you bid 1, your opponent bids 5, then you're playing Karmic Balance, and all of a sudden you're both back to 4. But you're down 2 honor, but you're up 4, or you're down 2 fate, but you're up 4 honor, which in many cases
you're up 4 honor. Yeah. That would make it better, but
that might make it too good. Now, what you need to do is you need to somehow orchestrate that over a couple of turns. One way Dragon can actually do that is by, everyone bids 5, drawing to a bunch of cards, and then Dragon plays the entire hand, just dropping attachments here, dropping attachments there, burning through. And we've seen games where it was basically decided where one player overplayed their hand. Basically, they spent too many of their hands, of their cards during a conflict. They were trying to win that. And for the rest of their game, they had very few cards to play with, while their opponent had numerous cards and was able to get advantage. This might be a situation where Dragon is able to overextend in cases like that. Then play Karmic Balance, and all of a sudden you're both back to 4, and then that board's a lot friendlier for a Dragon player.
Absolutely. You still have opportunity costs involved there, though, and that you have to draw after your bid 5. There's a good chance of that. That's absolutely fine. But I mean, the thing is, if that strategy does start to, if that strategy works, and then if it becomes prevalent in high level play, then you are going to have players not bidding 4 necessarily on turn. Not bidding 5 on turn 2 against Dragon play. And plus, you've always got the danger against Scorpion or Crane or potentially anyone who's got Courtiers that this gets countered, and that could just. I mean, obviously, and that's a 2 fate event that gets countered. That's awfully bad.
And as we're talking about attachments already, that 2 costs, losing 2 fate, it can just be such a big swing that it's often not worth those big cards. Yeah,
absolutely. Especially on the first couple of that can really send your game plan into a tailspin. So it's absolutely it's a. I mean, I love the idea behind it. The flavor is just it's a 9 or 10 on flavor. But in terms of the mechanics, the opportunity costs, the whole works, as a competitive card, I would be surprised if this made it into kind of extended or into long-term competitive play.
I would not be shocked if this was a one of in any competitive Dragon deck, where the option to burn through your hand and then reset the table just too good to get on. But we'll have to see. We'll see.
Very possibly, yeah.
And I think that the fact that we're not sure is very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but that's the thing. This is one of the great things about the game of the game of 5 rings. That It's just not like other card games.
Now, here's another exciting one we have coming up. This is Warm Welcome, a 1-cost neutral event. Play only if your honor bid is lower than an opponent's. So essentially, if you have Composure.
Oh, God.
Action, choose a card in your conflict discard pile. Play that card as if it were in your hand. If that card is an event, put it at the bottom of your conflict. So we've got some recursion. What's the mantra?
Yeah, it's one of the 3 pillars of gameplay. Degenerate gameplay.
Is this playable though?
Oh, it's I think this is 100% playable. I'm not sure it's going to. I mean, yeah, it's. I'm not sure it's necessarily a 3 of in every deck. In fact, I'm sure it absolutely isn't a 3 of in every deck, and that's a very good thing, because if a card like this is a 3 of in every deck, then you're just one step closer to breaking. But it's very, very good. Like this, like Dishonor decks.
Another backhanded compliment.
Yeah, I mean, it's potential. The thing is, like, once you get to the stage where backhanded compliment is an issue, then everybody's already bidding 1. So once again, it's like the play only if you're honor bid.
Yeah, true.
So I mean, again, this is where the Scorpion, what's her face, that I was complaining and bitching about.
The puppeteer, social puppeteer.
Yeah, I mean that's where she could be very, very interesting, because you can bid 2 when your opponent's bidding 1, then you can switch dials and go crazy on some warm welcome. So
does that make it a negotiator better then?
Not necessarily, because if your opponent bids 1, then you can't switch your own warm welcomes. But with the social puppeteer, if you bid 2 and your opponent bids 1, guaranteed to have it switched on. Or if as long as your bids are different, then you're guaranteed to be able to switch it on.
Cool.
So yeah, it's recursion. Like, they've been very, very careful, in fairness, with regards to recursive effects game. So it's like this card isn't going to lead to any kind of infinite loops or anything like that, or
it does,
infinite, but significantly.
It does have a fun effect where if you have a warm welcome in your discard already, you can play a second warm welcome to warm welcome your warm welcome into the card you want. And essentially the warm welcome that was in your discard pile gets put in at the bottom of your deck.
Yep.
So you can infinitely recurse your warm welcomes if you're willing to spend all that fate.
You could. If you get that far, then, or no, if you get to the end of your deck and you've got warm welcomes recursing, then have at it, I say. Like, it's a good card. It'll see splash play, I'm sure. If this card sees 3 of play in decks, then again, it's one of those cards that, just watch out for it, because again, recursion is one of the things that can kind of break stuff. But it looks like it's old enough that it's not going to cause any massive problem.
All right. The next kind of big topic we're going to get into related. We're going to start looking at some of the honor-based cards. So where we had been talking about bidding was all about what your dial was set. And actually, we didn't mention when we were talking about bidding that the dials do reset every time you duel. So with more duels in the game, you might see a lot more situations bouncing back and forth where the dials shift a lot more than we've been.
Yeah, that's very possible, and definitely worth definitely worth noting. Definitely worth noting.
But these cards that we're going to look at now are related to honor, is your overall total, rather than just looking at you. So this first one we have is Akuma Orator, who is a Lion Clan courtier with 2 base, 2 politics, 2 military, 1 politics, and 1 glory. So it's a 2-cost 2/1/1. Courtier, as I mentioned, and while you're more honorable than an opponent, this character gets +2 politics. So if we're generous enough to say that Lion will always have more honor, and they start against every clan except basically Scorpion, who can steal that honor, they're going to be more honorable, at least initially. And depending how they play, they might end up consistently. So is a 2-cost 2/3 courtier worth it?
Yeah, I think so. Especially the political scores on its cheap character support. I mean, it's a fine card. It's not going to set the world on fire by any stretch of the imagination, but I could see it sneaking into certain deck that into certain Lion decks that want to run courtiers.
And
yeah, I mean, like
the courtier range is getting better and better for Lion recently.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. It's one of those things. Like, would it make it into current lineups? I'm not sure it would. But if there was a more heavily core-based deck, then it's one of those kind of cards that just kind of makes up for courtier decks, or like for most decks. Like a 2-cost 2/3 is never going to be terrible. It's never going to be wonderful, but it's never going to be terrible.
So it's a filler until something better comes along.
Yeah, definitely a filler until something better arrives.
So it might see.
It's just
yeah, as Travis is saying, see play in current line decks, but it's still trash.
Yeah, that is probably fair. Yeah, Lion have been getting the shitty end of the stick for quite a while now in terms of cards. I think that first Worlds win. I think that really hamstrung them.
All right, let's see what we have next. So we've here. Sorry, I've mixed up my honor and my bidding, so we might see some extra cards in here. All right, next one we have is the Sage of Gisei Toshi. So this is a 3-cost 1/3 2 glory. It's a Phoenix character, a courtier and a scholar. Scholar is one of the important traits for Phoenix. Action: during a conflict, if you are more honorable than your opponent, choose a participating character your opponent controls. Move this character home, then move that character home. So you send your opponent home and you send yourself home. That seems kind of cool. So a 3-cost 2/3 for Lion was or 2-cost 2/3 for Lion was so. What's a 3-cost 1/3 for Phoenix like with a send home action?
The stats are borderline irrelevant for this guy. All about the ability. So Phoenix already have a couple of abilities. They've got the Radiant Orator, just sends more honorable. And then you've got Harmonize, which is a keeper card, which allows you to so basically you send one of your guys home to send a lower fate cost home. So what we're seeing here, I think, is the establishment of a pacifistic Phoenix courtier deck, which will probably win by honor or dishonor. I mean, I suppose dishonor would be the current avenue, but if a powerful honor card goes up, then then an honor direction could be where it goes. But yeah, it's just you just have a deck that sends people home, pushes people out of conflicts, doesn't fight, and yeah, I mean, it's got scholars. I've forgotten the name of that holding now. The one that requires scholars but allows you to blow up your opponent's cards, discards cards in provinces. Derp. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So
it doesn't seem like it's definitely thematically very cool, and obviously with these kind of cards, the double send home, what you're hoping to do is with your one military character defend against Tuturi, and then Tuturi and the Sage go home, which obviously gets you a big advantage in the military. Then the Sage can attack into the political conflict, and the only alternative Tuturi has at that point is he can attack in a political, he can defend in the political, or hope that you're going to later declare a military conflict. So yeah, you're essentially getting to choose which conflicts your opponent's characters get in or don't get in. Very, very, very cool. But the trick is, will you be able to reliably use this? Or more honorable than your opponent?
Yeah, that is tricky. It's difficult enough for Phoenix, certainly. Generally, the good Phoenix decks at the moment rely on drawing infinite cards, infinite conflict cards. So from that point of view, he's not fitting into anything current. But as I said, the deck that I would see him in is an Isalamari Sado glory-based honor deck, I think. Yeah. It's just a sneaking suspicion, but I have a feeling that Phoenix will get some kind of ring-related honor-gaining mechanic quite soon. If not in this set, then fairly shortly.
That's constantly developing. We're definitely seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like there are lots and lots of pieces for it here, or there are lots and lots of for it that exist already. We're just waiting for it to kind of cohere into a single thing. So what that deck needs at the moment is a win condition, because it doesn't have one. Yeah. But as soon as it does get a win condition, then I think there are enough pieces there to make I don't know if it's super competitive, but the deck type is absolutely there. So if you can switch this character, then this character is amazing. But obviously, if you cannot switch this character on, then a 1/3 for 3 is garbage. So yeah, that's the big challenge.
All right, the next character I want to look at is kind of a different direction. We're still talking about honor. This is the Shinobi Heroine, which is a unicorn character. It is cost 3 military, politics, 2 glory, Bushi Cavalry Battle Maiden. He has reaction after an opponent gains 1 or more honor through a card effect. Ready this character. So card effects. What we were talking about with the Phoenix a second ago, seeing what card effects are out there that will gain them honor, aren't really a lot. For the unicorn to reliably use this is the
Yurt.
Yeah. So the trigger the Yurt, your opponent ends up getting 2 honor, and they have now got at least 1 honor through a card effect. So all of your Shinobi heroines can trade. That's pretty cool. It does suggest that we're going to see more cards.
Yeah, well, this is what it like. Potentially, they're laying the ground for honor. Essentially, honor is a victory condition, and it's over a year now, and really it hasn't advanced as a victory condition much, if at all, through time. It's kind of come close. Like there are a few gimmicky decks or a couple of gimmicky decks that go after it, but they're not top tier competitive.
Yeah. We've seen Way of the Chrysanthemum, which was a pretty big deal. I know, obviously.
Yeah,
it's a gimmick.
It was a big splash when it hit, for sure. So right now, at the moment, this card is good because there just aren't enough effects. And you don't have people gain enough honor through card effects to make this reliable. So you really are just kind of relying on your yurts. And the thing with the yurt is maybe you need the fate. You can't necessarily 100% rely on that as well. So it's kind of what's the other unicorn card that readies this? God, I'm so bad. My head is a sieve. The 2-cost 2/1. The Border Rider or something like that.
Yeah, you're right. It's the Border Rider. But obviously, the Border Rider was always very vulnerable to assassinate, whereas the Shinobi Heroine, less reliable for straightening, but is 3-cost just out that assassination.
Yeah. So the heroine is.
And she expands out the team, so you can have multiple unicorn cards.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, further down when Border Riders and stuff like that, that's an intimidating lineup, and kind of an intimidating, always ready kind of deck. So
especially with their new stronghold, where they can get that extra conflict.
Yeah, absolutely. So she's a piece for later on. I don't think she makes it in now by any stretch, but once she becomes reliable, she's very, very good.
All right. back to honoring. The next one we're going to look at is Glorious Victory. So this is a 3-cost line event. Reaction: after you break a province during a military conflict, honor each character you control. For Greater Glory is on the restricted list. This is even greater glory. So obviously there are comparisons with that. The setup, this is a lot more costly at 3 rather than the 1 fate you wanted. It's honoring characters rather than giving characters more fate, which can be impactful, but if you've already broken that 1 province, a lot of the time getting the extra fate means those same characters get to do it all over again. But what's really cool about Glorious Victory is Glorious Victory does it to all of your characters. It doesn't care where they are. They didn't need to be in that particular battle. It was glorious. All of the line win out. So that's really cool.
That's real, and this is your last gasp, get over the victory card. So
is this?
I mean, you can use it to honor all your guys a big turn next turn, or you can to honor your largely fateless board and gain 5 or 6 honor in a turn and push yourself to 25.
Yeah. So is this an honor victory condition for line? Basically, they'll take 3 provinces, spend 9 fate, and get some honor out of it. Is that how we're going?
Well, they're not going to spend 9 because 5 and 3 you guys are.
With other 2-cost characters, just keep churning them out.
Yeah, absolutely. What you could go with Strength of the River. If you were feeling saucy, you could use the unicorn spell to throw like 3 or 4 more guys into your battle. Win your battle, all of a sudden you're getting honor. You've got multiple Strengths of the River. You're gaining how much honor? So
that's kind of cool.
yeah. So it's a bit of a combo, and we haven't seen too many kind of combo-oriented decks so far. There haven't been many, but that's one that piques my interest, and that's why this card costs. I mean, the other card a card that's I suppose the most vaguely comparable card, sort of, is Cavalry Reserves, which also has 3 and also kind of boosts your board significantly in terms of force. But this works after you've attacked, as opposed to winning you a conflict or potentially a game by breaking someone's stronghold. So Glorious Victory for me, 100% a combo honor bomb card. So you pour guys out on the board, you don't put fate on them, or you engineer a board that will be fateless on the single turn you go across with your Glorious Victories. You gain your bit here and there with Lion's other honor gaining cards. They have a bunch of them, and then you just gain a shed load of honor in a single turn and bomb across the line, and praise doesn't get countered.
Oh god, yeah. So what I find really interesting about this is that it actually gives line a pretty strong political boost. So going over and taking that province militarily is something that the line definitely can do and can almost rely on it.
Yeah.
But that second attack where they send over their bushi to try deal with the courts isn't as easy. But if they're able to go in with the first wave, crush that province, and then suddenly get an extra +2 to +3 politics on all of their remaining characters, that could let them win that second conflict.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think you're paying premium. I mean, 3 is half a turn nearly.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is not insignificant. Which is very, very significant. But that's absolutely. I mean, if you're playing, and that's just the way that the game breaks. Where going across, securing a military win and then paying 3 to boost your political side of the board. If it's what's going to get you the win, God, yeah, you absolutely do that.
And Lion have all that extra fate left over because the only characters they make are 2 fate, so they've got plenty of fate left over, right?
Yeah, they just make 2/1 fake guys.
That's how it works, right?
They're trashy horde 2/1. So like it's a really interesting. I really like this card for a bunch, like for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's so thematic. Lion Clan, boiled down almost to one card. It's great.
And look, if it never actually sees serious competitive play, I think this could be a really fun card to play in fun decks, and that for me is a win all by itself. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's the other one with the ridiculous unicorn stronghold that makes infinite fate. This is a card that could easily see splash play in that. Just because 3, if you're making 10 fate a turn, then 3 fate really isn't that much of an outlay. So yeah, I love this card. Yeah,
all right.
I love this card.
The next one we're going to have a quick look at is Unmatched Expertise, a 0-cost +1/+1 attachment. So it's a Phoenix attachment. It's a technique. It's fire roll only, so he can't play it. Attached character cannot become dishonored, and force reaction after the attached character loses a conflict, discard this attachment. This feels like this is a gap in the Phoenix that could have been fixed. High glory has always been a problem when your opponent just, court games your clan champion, and all of a sudden that 4/4 is a 0/0.
Or you play a Scorpion player, and no, absolutely. This card is absolutely incredible for Phoenix, except it's fire roll lock. It's just so depressing. I would if I were like as a Phoenix player, I would go out and get a fire roll tomorrow so I could play this card. The card is that good.
And would you go for a fire roll otherwise?
I wouldn't I wouldn't object to one, but I wouldn't be falling over myself. But I 100% would be for this card. This card is just incredible. It's incredible. It's an amazing card.
Yeah.
So like,
and even if they're not
fans,
even if they're not actually dishonoring you, just a 0-cost +1/+1 is nice.
Oh, absolutely. Like Katanas and fans are tournament stakes. They are widely played across almost all clans, and this is a 0-cost 1/1. And you've got like Phoenix are well known for like readying their characters left, right, and center. Attached character can't become dishonored. Yeah, it's a dream card for Phoenix. It's just super. It's just super.
All right.
So yeah, fire roll.
Vote fire.
Yeah.
Vote early. Vote often. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just superb. Like I'd play 3 of these hands down in every deck if I could.
So more gifts for the Phoenix. This is a 1-cost event. It's Gift of Amaterasu. It is a spell. It is fire. Reaction: after you win a conflict by 5 or more skill, choose a character you control. Honor that character.
Right. This is in the running for the worst card ever. It's literal garbage. It is literal garbage. Okay, so it costs 1 fate. You have to win a conflict. You have to win it by 5 or more.
Yeah.
And then the payoff is that you get to honor them. It's shocking bad. Like Phoenix already have a way better card than this that does this thing, which is Benton's Touch, and that card borderline. Like it's fine, but not great.
Yeah, but it'll help you break the province rather than having to wait to. Yeah, this was a problem with Phoenix early on, where a lot of the cards were after you successfully get a ring. Don't worry about the rest. You're never going to get a ring.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, maybe let's just move on.
Hang on a second. Now we've got Travis just pinged me. So Travis thinks the card is not only playable but better than current honor options in Phoenix. There are, better than current honor options. Yeah, you see,
it's the win a conflict by 5 or more that kills me. And
So
even if you took that away,
typically that's on the attack. Like if you're defending, you can defend and successfully win by 5 or more. It certainly does happen, but attacking by 5 or more is when you take a province. So this is kind of like a mini version of Glorious Victory. So instead of 3 costs, it's 1 cost. Instead of say 3 characters, you're getting 1 character. So is that a fair comparison?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like when people are saying this card is brilliant, like there was another card that was win by 5 or more, which was the Path of Man, and that's gain to fate as opposed to honor. And I would submit that gaining to fate is baseline. Probably just a better effect than honoring a character. And that card never. I mean, I thought it was going to be great. Like I genuinely thought that the Path of Man was going to be great because Jesus Christ, a 0 cost card that gets 0 fate card that gains you 2 fate if you win a conflict, and you got to win it by 5 or more. And Phoenix are great at by lots and lots when they want to. So I thought, yeah, that card would be great, but it's not. It's just not good at all.
And if anyone is at WarpCon and you see me, remind me that I'm giving out promo Path of Mans in honor of this particular episode until I run out of them.
Yeah. So yeah. So Travis is saying Path is not better than I would.
Pat is better than Benton. I can see the argument, but.
And that this is better than Benton's. Again, Benton's
don't have
interactions with. Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying Benton's has interactions with Iwona. It actually helps you win a conflict potentially. It makes the water a net positive if it's your first conflict and you want to go for water. It makes that a super positive. Like I'm so completely unconvinced by this card.
I think Phoenix has been burned before by several of the cards, largely the ring interaction ones, which have said after you win a ring, after you claim a ring, after you resolve a ring.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And the more of those you put into your deck, the less likely you're ever going to be able to resolve any of them. Gift of Amaterasu, when your deck is working well, could be super efficient, could be great. But the problem is when you've stuck with 3 of them in hand from your opening turn, and you're not able to win a single conflict, then that's a problem.
Yeah, that's the issue for me. I think this card. I completely agree that Embrace the Void is better than Path of Man. If Path of Man didn't have the win by 5 or more, then I think Path of Man would be vastly superior. So it's just one of those things. Yeah, but anyway, for me at the moment, this card is hot garbage, and I would love to be proven wrong. I would love to have another great card in Phoenix that honors people, but I just don't think it's there.
I think it's one to play around with and see, but we're not going to hold our breath for it.
I mean, the thing is, like, even if it was like even if it didn't have even if it just had action honor a character, it's still a 1 cost Way of the Crane. I mean, and Way of the Crane is ridiculously broken. Don't get me wrong.
And actually, we were just talking a second ago about how we're missing a victory condition for that Courtier deck. Maybe packing in as many honor up cards as we can, just squeeze a little bit more out. All right. In that case, let's move on to Subdue the Spirits, which I'm sure won't honor anyone. It is a 2-cost event. Action during a conflict if you're more honorable than your opponent. So again, with the same being a higher honor team. Until the end of the conflict, each participating character you control adds its glory to each of its skills. That's quite cool. 2-cost. You've got decent glory in Phoenix already, and you're getting a bit of a boost. So let's say you've just got 1 character. 1/2 glory character. You're paying 2 fate for a +2 boost to both their skills. That's not great, but if you've got 3 characters, you're on that final province. You know, you've got a 2, a 3, and a 2. That's a decent chunk of force.
Yeah, but again, yeah, I know it's the same back to like you want to have multiple characters in a conflict. It's a finisher card. It's a card that you know when you're attacking an opponent's stronghold, you go all in and you play Subdue the Spirits, and you probably just win right there, though. So, on that basis, is it unplayable? I don't think so. It could be. It could be a card that you might see that you might play one of in a deck, just as that pure finisher. If it were a spell, it would be much more tempting.
Yeah.
Even at the two fate cost. But if it were a spell, then honestly, out of Cute Nasawa, it might be too strong. Because being able to recurse it at a stronghold would be pretty nasty.
But that would be two separate conflicts, right?
It would be. I mean, potentially, unless it's
does it stack?
For some reason. But yeah, it's
till the end of the conflict, so it doesn't stack.
Yeah, it's a superb finisher card, but like the 2 cost and basically the fact that you're attacking with 1, maybe 2 characters in most other conflicts makes this pretty inefficient at any point up to a stronghold break.
Yeah. So, I mean, you might consider 1 maybe in a deck?
Yeah, I would absolutely consider 1.
And actually, one cool part of it is it might actually make your characters immune to duels. So, if you're able to boost all of your characters across your conflict by their glory, that might put them out of the range of any ability for your opponent to actually get some duels in, which could be cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Again, it's the 2 fake.
Yeah. I hear you.
Is the big.
And God help you if it gets cancelled.
Yeah, right. As usual. I mean, I don't think it's as like it's not. It's maybe like 90% or 85% is crippling as it was maybe about kind of 7 or 8 months ago, having a 2-cost event cancelled. Just there's more resource generation in the game now, but it's still not something you look forward to happening.
All right, and then the last one we have in the honor set is Miyako's Undertaking. So this is another 2-cost event, but this is for Scorpion. Play only if you've got 6 or fewer honor. So again, Scorpion are going in the opposite direction. So they're looking to be bidding high and to be low honor compared to other leader plans. Action: during a conflict, choose a non-unique character in your opponent's Dynasty discard pile and a participating character you control. Till the end of the conflict, your character becomes a copy of the character in your opponent's discard pile. So, copy their clan champion, overlay that onto your 1-cost.
No, it has to be a non-unique. Has to be a non-unique character.
Non-unique. Okay.
Your opponent's Dynasty card discard pile. Yeah, this is fine-ish. I don't. Yeah. I don't think remotely as good as the previous card, whose name I've already forgotten. But it's fine. Again, it's a situational card that could be very, very good, but the 2-cost is pretty savage. For again, an effect that you can't really you can't really know what you're going to get with the card.
Yeah. Not something I'm going to rely on.
So it's not something you're going to rely on, and then is it going to generate 2 fates worth of value when it's playing? And that's another big question.
Probably not.
And the thing is, like, even if you somehow do manage to copy like a Matsu 7th Legion onto your 2-cost guy, that's just 1 assassination away from you having wasted, a fate card, 2 fate, and a guy. But yeah,
so
I mean.
I think what's notable.
Yeah.
Well, I think what's notable about this particular card is it reinforces the idea that Scorpion are playing from a different playbook. That they're looking to be less honorable and they're looking to bid high.
Yeah.
So, am I reading the chat? Are the guys suggesting that Subdue the Spirits will stack so you can play multiple?
Hang on, could you go back and take?
So, action during a conflict. If you are more honorable than your opponent until the end of the conflict, each participating character you control adds its glory to each of its skills. This applies in addition to any modifiers to the skills of those characters due to being honored or dishonored. You know, I am not sure.
That wording is pretty ambiguous, actually, isn't it?
We'll leave it for the judges to work out. Not our problem for now. So yeah, if you're curious,
it's a technical wording issue. I'm not sure.
If you're curious, look up 5ringsdb.com and hopefully they'll have something up there by then. All right, we're going to drift into a couple of the smaller sub-teams that we have. So these are different cards that I think are supporting existing teams for the different clans. The first one we have is the Crab's Heavy Ballista. So this is supporting their defensive focus, really. It is another holding. So it's going to stick in their provinces, but you know they can rebuild back, which is kind of cool. Action during a military conflict in which you are defending, so that's already really, really limiting. Discard a card from your hand and choose a ready attacking character. That character's controller selects one, bow that character, or remove one fate from it. So they have to choose between losing the character a turn earlier if they have fate on it, but still hopefully taking a province, or bowing that character and surrendering their skills for that conflict. And obviously you can have multiple heavy ballistas. Like you could have 2, for example, or you could just rebuild one back out, which is kind of cool. But it is locking up a province, and it is 0 + 0 province strength, which is a little frustrating.
Yeah, it's a decent. It's a decent card. I mean, the problem is.
Go on.
No, you fire ahead, Baz.
It doesn't help them win. I mean, it's more defense, and obviously you can go, well, I'm going to attack that heavy ballista, and I'm going to do it with a political conflict, and the heavy ballista is useless for that particular one if it's really a problem. So that's a little frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me the concern is that if this card is going to mess up someone military conflict, and they're going to attack this province with their political conflict, attempt to take it, and as a crab player you are not ideally placed to stop them from breaking your province politically.
And we already have a glut of great holdings for crab already.
Yeah, absolutely. Like finding space is a difficult thing to do.
I know for a few of the recent ones they've been including one, and then when they need that particular holding they'll rebuild back into it, which I guess about
maybe it's a card you play one. Even then, I'm just not sure. Like, I mean, the way it works is like if the character that you're targeting has fate, then it's going to automatically bow there. So that is pretty good. So I mean, it does work well defensively.
Yeah,
like if you're splashing unicorn, you could run captive audience to make sure things are military, but that. There may be better things to do. All right, but yeah, that's focusing on the defensive thing. That's kind of cool. Next, we have it's fine, and it doesn't have to be at the conflict where the heavy ballast is. It covers your entire defensive your entire defensive fortifications are covered with just one shop smart.
That's true. All right, the next one we have is the Tranquil Philosopher, which is a 3-cost, 2/2, and 2 glory monk for dragon. It has action, choose an unclaimed ring, move 1 fate from that ring to another unclaimed ring, then gain 1 honor. So, Jade Masterpiece is an attachment, a 1-cost attachment that gave 1 politics, I think, that had the same effect but without the honor game, which has had some play in dragon. One of the nice things about it is after you pay its 1 cost, that turn it pays for itself and probably denies your opponent a fate, and then everything after that it gains fate. This guy, I mean, monk is good. That's what dragon are looking for. 3 cost is kind of that sweet spot where it's just above the 2 of assassination level, but you're not really into the big numbers yet. Pairing this, I think, to the Jade Masterpiece, the big issue is with Jade Masterpiece, you could pay 1 and drop it onto, Muramoto Retsugu, who's got like 3 or 4 fate on him, and then it's going to stick around for those few turns. But with the Tranquil Philosopher, to get value out of it, you've got to add extra faith to the Tranquil Philosopher. And those 2/2 stats for 3 aren't really great. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not great. So having him around, you're probably going to try to keep him around primarily for the ability. That said, it does gain you honor. So that's an additional twist that we hadn't seen before. Dragon decks often have a lot of problems with honor because you're bidding high, trying to get as much card draw as they can, but don't often have honor gaining effects. So it's a cool card. I'm not sure it'll see play in any of my decks, but what do you think, Justin?
Yeah, I think the big thing is the honor. Like you said, Dragon bid high. They do have a game plan that revolves around drawing quite a few cards, and being able to gain honor. That's always used. Yeah, I mean it's useful against decks that are going to pressure your honor. So primarily Crab and Scorpion. Things which I mean that could expand like as the. Yeah, so it's he's going to be pretty good against those two, and he's going to be fine, I think, at best against everything else. I mean, he's got the dreaded 2 stats that, you know, he's 1 dishonor effect away from being, you know, a spud on the board, which is never a good feeling. But he could save you in certain situations. Yeah, like if you're expecting a very Scorpion and Crab-centric meta, I could see playing him. But generally, not so much. I mean, maybe 2 in a deck, maybe 1. I don't know. I think it depends very much on what you're expecting to see.
All right, a little bit more exciting, I think, is the Fire Tensei Acolyte. So this is a Phoenix character. It is a 2-cost, 3 military, 2 politics, 1 glory Shigenja with the fire trait. The character cannot be declared as an attacker except during fire conflict.
Yeah, you know that other card I said was the worst card in the game? I was wrong. This is.
Tell me more.
Yeah.
It's not a 1-cost 3/3, which is the baseline that we judge all Shigenja by, right?
No, absolutely. So okay. So in the base set, you have a called Peacekeeper, who is a 1-cost 4/1, but cannot be declared or cannot participate in attacking. So what you have here is a 2-cost 3/2 who can only be declared as an attacker in fire conflicts. So he is 20% better, maybe, than a completely unplayable card with vastly worse stats at comparable, maybe worse stats at twice the cost. So just garbage.
But hold on, like
absolute trash.
Fire conflicts are good, right?
No, Phoenix really don't play the fire ring much.
Ooh,
at least certainly in
yeah.
And apart from that, I find myself. I would say fire is the ring I go for least playing Phoenix. I say it goes water first, void, and actually probably earth is second, void third, air fourth, fire last. But situationally, I'm not going to lie. But this is. Oh, have we lost our?
Looks like we have. What's going on here? Oh, did I? Oh, I think I just quit out in error. Hold on. I think we lost audio before we did that, so I'm gonna claim I'm relogging. But I know from the last stream I did there was a lot of. Oh no, we should still have it there. No, we're still good.
Yeah, hang on. I'll just refresh.
Okay, I think we're good again. I know from the last one I was doing a lot of piecing together bits and pieces.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, we're back. So where did we get to?
We were just saying that this is possibly the strongest Phoenix card that we've seen, and it's a shoe in all decks.
Yes, indeed. I don't know if go back on the rant. So the
the card that I was comparing this to actually. So Travis is comparing it to Harumi Yojimbo, which is a completely valid comparison. I was comparing it to Shiba Peacekeeper.
Yeah, you're right. Peacekeeper, sorry. It's Peacekeeper. He is a Yojimbo,
yeah, he is. So he is a Yojimbo. So saying like the Peacekeeper is a 1/1 who can't participate in conflicts or can't participate in attacking conflicts. And this guy is a 3/2, so slightly worse stats probably overall for double the cost. Who can participate as an attacker in one conflict, and it can be declared.
It is a little frustrating that he's only 2 glory, or only 1 glory. Like if he was 2 or even 3 glory, obviously he'd be much better. But the fact that the only conflict he can get involved in, to honor himself
on the
up.
Attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's terrible. Just very, very bad.
Okay.
Very, very bad.
Like
even the thing is, like as a Phoenix player, even if his text box was blank, he would probably not be good enough to get in a deck.
So I was going to say that the minor sub team here was rings for the Phoenix, but this might just be bad Shigenja.
Bad Shigenja, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, he wouldn't beat out any of the 2 costs that are currently in the deck.
All right, this next card we have is kicking people in the face. Hand to hand. So it's a 0-cost event for Lion. Action during a military conflict. Choose an attachment and a participating character. Discard that attachment. Then your opponent may resolve this ability. So Let Go has been pretty meta-defining. To the extent that the only people who was not splashing dragon were the dragon. This gives 2 aspects. This gives Line the option of not playing dragon, and they have their own somewhat limited attachment control, and it also allows other clans to splash into Line if they want to, and this is only 1 influence. Kind of nice.
Yep.
But it doesn't deal with all your problems.
No.
So it doesn't deal with your Cloud the Mines if that character needs to resolve something outside of the conflict. It doesn't help you in a political conflict. This has to be a military conflict. You have to take an action to do it. So if they have an attachment that they can just bow to make something horrible happen to you, you're in trouble. Like any of the duels, for example, that we've been looking at earlier. A lot of those were duels. Actually, this set has added a lot of attachments in retrospect. They've been skills and they've been maybe philosophies and stuff like that, but a lot of attachments. I definitely like that they're bringing in more cards like that to kind of replace Let Go for other clans. It is also quite cool that the other clans, or that the splashes are going to be kind of spread around, but also that this isn't as good as Let Go. Let Go is still the kind of
it's the Rolls Royce of So it's just because it gives a second option for attachment control outside of Dragon. So, like, one of the hidden costs of this card is that it means that you are highly restricted in the number of attachments you can play yourself. And if you do choose to play attachments, you have to be very careful on how you put them, and basically you're planning ahead for the next turn or 2. So, but that said, having another, this is, Let Go as a card should not exist at all. It's too good at what it does for too cheap. Cards like this are much more.
Yes, yeah. So I know that might raise a few hackles with people out there, because there are 2 and 3 cost attachments that would run rampant if there wasn't some sort of attachment control.
I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying that attachment removes the game. It absolutely has to. But Let Go is just the worst possible version of that card, because it's free, it's locked, it's hyper efficient. It's just basically impossible to make better. And because it is clan locked, it's that they have to splash one other clan in order to have it. But anyway,
so Gordo's making an excellent point in the chat. Does this make Yoritomo playable? Yoritomo and 3 hand-to-hands and 3 let-goes. Is that enough to keep all the clouds off Yoritomo?
Probably. I mean, I would. It probably is. I mean, the sad thing, Gordon, that with all the attachment in the world, that still doesn't make Yoritomo playable.
All right.
Sorry to break it. Sorry. But hand to hand, super important card. It's great to see that attachment removal is moving out outside Dragon, opens up splashes for a bunch of clans. It's positive for the game. I hope attachment removal with balanced effects in different clans just to keep on.
Right. Next up, we have Infiltrator's Tools. So this is pushing along the Shinobi team. A 0 cost, 0/0 attachment attached to a Shinobi character, and the attached character gains covert. This
brilliant card,
amazing. So
yes.
I've been running the Tattooed Wanderer since the get-go, and it is one of the best cards ever. Being able to pay 1 and give covert to one of your characters is fantastic. Absolutely hands down fantastic. Has easily won me many games. Yep. This is similar. You are limited to Shinobi. In theory, the Scorpion could use their seal to, spread out a little bit more Shinobi, but the Shinobi selection is increasing. Is more covert good for the game?
That is our, but it's a thematic Shinobi, I would say. So a card like this really does need to, and it's super fantastic out of Kyuden Bayushi because you can ready your Dishonored Shinobi, do it all over again.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, covert's kind of a funny mechanic. If one side has covert and the other side that doesn't is in a hell of a lot of trouble. If both sides have covert, then the game gets way more interesting. Especially if your covert is something you acquire via attachment, because then you are making decisions about which covert goes where. You're trying to spring up surprises on your opponent, get them put their covert in the wrong place, maybe for next turn or the turn after. So this is a really good card. Yeah, super. I'm a big fan.
So this is a defensive covert. We shouldn't worry about it. It's purely defensive.
Oh, pure defense. That's yeah.
All right, I think we're definitely going to see this card. Obviously, the Shinobi selection needs to be developed a little bit, but I think it's been getting better and better and better. So yeah,
it has. I've been on the when Shinobi deck goes about it. It's one of the most frustrating. It's just one of the most frustrating experiences I've had. So yeah, great. Working as intended.
All right, this is less of a card theme for Crab, but I wanted to bring this one up. So this is a Smuggling Deal. The 0 cost event action: give an opponent 1 honor and choose an ability on a character you control. You may trigger that ability an additional time this round or specified period. That's pretty cool. I like this card. So you pick your best action on the table and you do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, even if this card isn't super superb, and I think it is, I mean, what would Crab have already? Witch Hunter. Witch Hunter is the obvious one for Crab. Being able to use Witch Hunter twice a turn is just soul destroying. Facing it, having to face it once in a turn is usually bad enough, but twice for sure. I mean, there's other things like the card has such utility. Like you've got well, if you want to gain an additional fate, you can exchange a card for fate. So it's probably not. Again, it doesn't seem like it's a completely broken card right now, but it's a card that will just get better and better and better as more and more characters and more bizarre are
And yeah, obviously there's a lot of cool abilities. It's quite similar in many regards to the Dragon's Way of the dragon that lets you use your ability a second time. Obviously, this is 0 cost, and you're essentially giving your opponent an honor, rather than 2 costs and an attachment that's 6 rounds. So it's kind of a different direction. It does work with that unicorn character, which is kind of cool because you're giving him the honor. I'm not sure if you'd mentioned that earlier. I think you mentioned something about the Shiotomi.
Oh yeah, the Shiotomi heroine.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. At a 3 cost, is it worth splashing? Not sure. Like a lot of the dueling cards we've seen already are actions that could be triggered by this. So
yeah, some of those could be really upsetting if they go. So yeah, just we'll get to Hitomi, but Hitomi in a smuggling deal could just be the saddest thing.
All right, but the reason I bring this one up is because the Scorpion Poison subteam is getting a little bit more development. This is Kiriko. It is a 1-cost event. It's a poison reaction. After a character your opponent controls triggers an ability, bow that character. And this
card's amazing.
This obviously falls under the Scorpion subtheme of the other clans can't have nice shit.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Scorpion punishing you. Which I suppose is
cool cards.
Which I suppose is thematically Scorpion, but sure isn't a lot of fun to play against. This card is amazing. This card is really, really.
This card terrifies me. This is my biggest concern out of this entire pack is how this card makes a mess of all of my characters.
Yeah, absolutely. What'll make you feel even worse about it when we.
Amatsu.
Oh, is it Jiben? The Poison Master? It is Jiben.
Yeah, we'll get to him.
Yeah, so basically, but I mean, what makes this card especially awful is the fact that it can be it can be searched for. So Scorpion can tutor this card. So the card is really, really good. 1-cost bow events at reaction speed as well is pretty nice. There's not a lot to say. It's really fantastic.
One of the considerations with this as a Scorpion player, when you're just trying to decide whether you put this in your deck or not, is whether the rest of the environment has actions that people are going to use that's going to be relevant. We had a lion attachment. I think it was a 2-cost attachment that if your opponent played an event... if they took an action...
You
go find it.
Charagiri or something.
Yes.
Something along those lines. Yeah, I mean, the big difference here is attachment, which you have to put in play before you can use the ability. It's on the board, so you know it's there. If your 2-cost attachment gets removed by Let Go, you feel terrible.
Whereas this is a surprise that comes out of nowhere.
Whereas this is a surprise, yeah. It'll come out of someone's hand and bow someone. So the surprise effect is... the surprise factor is a big deal. Like the card, it goes off at a peculiar in the action resolution sequence. So it's not going to. So things like leave would be affected by this, because you would declare the ability, and this occurs after it triggers, but before it. So the Need Master would declare his ability, then Kiriko would try to go off, bow him again, he's already bowed, and then he'd get to straighten. So just be aware, particularly for Scorpion players, that you look into the action resolution sequence, see exactly where this card goes, and work out which abilities it does affect.
So if you look in chat, there are some suggestions that... either might be planning on changing the RRG to make the card work so it'll bow characters before they have a chance to bow with their action. Let's not worry about that for now, but this is a fantastic card that I could definitely see making a mess of my day. That said, there's already so many fantastic cards, where do you find a room? The last card I want to have a look at is is relatively minor. Again, we're seeing more Mishido cards for the Unicorn. So this is a 2-cost 1/1 Jewel of the Khanate. Action. Side. Move my head.
Jewel of the Kamisine?
While the attached character is attacking, lose 1 honor, reduce the attacked province strength by 1 until the end of the conflict to a minimum of 0. Unlimited. So you could lose a chunk of honor to break a province.
Yeah, this card is terrible.
Winning by 1.
Yeah, this card is terrible. It costs 2 for +1/+1. Super mediocre effect. No.
All right, let's move on then.
Indeed.
All right, the next section we're going to look at, there's a couple of new provinces. So I think we've seen 3 out of the 4. The first one is Kiku Matsuri. So it is a 4 province strength province. It is an air province. Festival action during a conflict at this province. Choose a participating character controlled by each player. Honor each of those characters. So this is somewhat similar to Shameful Display, but you're honoring both characters rather than dishonoring one and honoring one. And the weird thing is you have to have 2 characters that you can honor.
Yes.
Which makes it a little bit trickier. So I think if you've got one character honored already and the other character not, you're unable to choose 2 characters you can honor. Whereas with Shameful Display, you just have to pick 2 characters and then work out what you're going to do with them afterwards, because you already know what you're going to do with Kiku Matsuri. You need honored characters that you can honor. That said, what do you think? It is another honored character.
It is an character. It's a and the rule of symmetrical effects is that the symmetrical effects better be amazing, borderline game-winning. Potentially to be played, and this is not a potentially game-winning effect or anything close to it, or it's not ridiculously powerful or ridiculously likely to benefit you. So that makes the card pretty unplayable. And the thing is, as well, you're giving up or.
Yeah, you're trading when you're existing air provinces. Well,
yeah, to play this. So.
If you've got high glory, though, when you honor up your character, it's going to give you more of an advantage than when you honor up your opponent's lowest glory character.
That's fair, but I mean, say you've got is a province that says give one +1 strength or +1 skill, +1 political or military skill. Is that a good province?
Probably not.
No, I don't think it is. I mean, obviously, different and a master that you can then straighten and go ham with, then this does get better. But then you're into the standard community. Do you have that character out at the same time? Does your hit this problem? They have that character out, etc., etc.
Yeah.
It's a little bit tough. So yeah, symmetrical effect, not good enough. Not good enough to be worth the symmetry. It's not going to benefit you in an outsized enough way to be worth the opportunity cost. Not include something over it. So for me, it's.
All right, let's have a look, see what the next province is. So, Illustrious Forge. This is a fire province with 4 province strength. Reaction: after the province is revealed, search the top 5 cards of your conflict deck for an attachment and put it in play attached to a character you control. Shuffle. Once you do this and find it, because you're putting it into play rather than playing it, you manage to skip that fate cost. So you're essentially going through the top 5 cards to your deck. You get to draw one of those cards, assuming there's an attachment in it, and then get some free fate to play it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, becoming an overused phrase, kind of hidden. You need to be playing probably somewhere in the region of 50.
Oh, you're breaking
a tad. Oh, am I?
I mean, your point was pretty clear, I think, though, that even when I'm playing with a gaseous swordsmith, sometimes I whiff on those 5 cards. You don't always get it.
Yeah. You need to be playing with a lot of attachment that cost you to benefit maximally, but you need to be playing with yeah, that's like you have a deck building restriction for this card inbuilt, which is you have to play a ton of. That's going to work for some decks, like some dragon decks may love it. Most decks are not going to like it. So, yeah, it's fun.
So yeah, I mean, as Travis is pointing out, it's a borderline one on par with Meditations, which isn't great. That said, there are a limited supply of fire provinces right now, and this adds to it. So that's kind of cool.
Indeed.
And it is a reaction province, so reaction unrevealed. I don't know. These typically haven't been great. Like, they need to have a super powerful effect.
Yeah, well, I mean, I suppose maybe the 2-cost attachment, and you're going to slam it down on the board and go, look, I drew a card and gained fate. But in order to do that, that means you're playing attachments, which means your deck is attachment good game. Like, basically let go.
Yeah.
So in order to make maximum use of this card, like absolute theoretical, you actually deck competitive. So you got to see where the design is wrong, but I think it just falls
a little short.
It just falls a little short, yeah.
So this is a water province, so a lot more interesting. 4 province strength.
This card, however,
Midnight Revels. Reaction: after a conflict is declared against this province, choose a character with the highest printed cost amongst characters in play. Bow that character. Why do you like this?
Because this card is amazing. So it's a reaction. It doesn't automatically. It's going to hurt you. You don't have to. But the upside is so annoying the upside is so annoying potentially that this card is just fantastic. So
is this something that you put on your stronghold province?
Potentially, but I don't know. I'd have to play test it at all actually to know whether it's best on or best.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if your opponent controls the highest cost character in play, then you basically get to remove that character from play for the turn, and that's hugely powerful. It happens. Yeah, it happens when the conflict is declared. I would have to go back to the timing to see if the character presume.
Everything happens simultaneously.
The character would be committed, so the character would end up bowed in. So it's.
But I think it's you actually, like if you're bowing one of the characters that's attacking, that'll help you save that province, which is pretty good.
Yes.
But if you're able to choose someone who they've left behind in the hopes of defending, and that clears out their defensive line, that could be massive.
Yeah, that could be even bigger. And this card allows you to do that because it doesn't require a fighting character. Something worth noting. So, I mean, this card is very, very powerful. I mean, there are situations where you're going to have the most expensive guy on the table, and it's just not going to be good. It's unfortunate. But, I mean, you could build a swarm deck like Lion with their horde of 2 and 1 cost characters. Would probably love this because it protects their provinces or sets up X. The card's just really good, and the thing is, you're also comparing it against all other water provinces. Basically, all other water provinces are terrible, bar Rally, and even Rally is just I kind of have to play this because it's a water province. So this could become.
And Rally is all about saving the province, whereas Midnight Rebels has the potential of helping you on an attack directly afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, is this card better than Rally? Yeah, I think in general it is.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Now this is now the default water province for play. So yeah,
the guys on the Jade Throne had Tyler on in an interview recently, which
okay, yeah,
haven't had a chance to listen to. It's definitely worth checking out. In it, they asked Tyler what was he most surprised by in reactions from the player base, and one of the things he said was when Midnight Revels came out, the player base didn't freak out. So he was expecting a much bigger reaction, and he has sat down and played with this. So yeah, this could potentially be an actual big impact on the game.
Yeah, I mean, on the downside, it's a random effect because it's a province and provinces are random. But for the controller, they have. I mean, you don't have to resolve it if you don't want when it flips, so it's not going to inadvertently destroy you. But yeah, I mean, certainly, like if you've got a 5-cost character on the race across and bump into Midnight Revel, you are not going to feel happy about it for sure. So yeah, it's a really good card. It's a really good card. So yeah.
All right, we're going to move into our last phase, and we're going to start talking about some of the unique characters.
Oh, sorry, just one more thing on Midnight Revels. It works every single time that an attack is declared against the province. It's not a reveal ability, it's a reaction, so it works every single time. And
what?
That is...
I totally missed that.
Oh, you missed that, did you?
I assumed water, unrevealed reaction, blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because they're all terrible. No, this will work. This will work once per. This will work. So
okay, now
Rebels is.
Yeah, now I'm freaking out and losing my mind. Okay.
Yeah, Midnight Rebels is a serious card. It's potentially. I mean, I'm not going to say it's a meta shaping card because it's a province and.
But this is the default water province from now on, right?
But this is the default water province, I would say.
Oh, that's cool.
So Collex13 is asking if there's a character, then you get to choose. Oh, actually, no. Does the active play?
It says choose a character with the highest printed cost.
With the highest printed cost, yeah. So I presume you pick the character you want to, and you choose their character, and that character.
And then you win the game.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much.
So if this doesn't necessarily have to be a stronghold province, then you can sit it in one of your provinces, and then
absolutely stick it in one. Yeah.
And it's not one that can be farmable because every time they hit it, okay, wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, unless they've got a horde, going to run it down.
Yeah.
And, but that's there is a bit of opportunity cost in playing it. Sometimes it might not, but the payoff when it does work is so huge that I think it's more than worth it.
And yeah, early game, if they've just got one character, they roll over, your boat popped out your 3-cost or your 2-cost characters, you can choose theirs. Oh, wow. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, let's move on to some unique characters. First, we're starting off with Kikita Toshimoko. So this is one for each of the clans. These are all 4-cost characters. These are all big names, like really big names from the old game and from the story. So this is much excitement, much wow. So Kikita Toshimoko is a 4-cost, 4/3 with 2 glory. He is a Bushi and a duelist. Interrupt. When this character would lose a conflict, initiate a military duel against a character your opponent controls of his or her choice. Resolve the duel. If this character wins, instead of resolving the conflict as normal, both players count 0 total skill in the conflict. And you end up returning the ring and unclaimed, and the conflict has no winner. Just for those who weren't familiar, the dueling rules have been tidied up a little bit. So anytime it says issue a duel, it has to be with and you're in a conflict, it has to be between participating people. So Toshimoko defends against the horde, duels one guy, and then everyone goes home. Essentially, that's amazing.
In fairness, you will get to pick the character that Toshimoko duels.
Yep.
So if you're facing like Thingammy,
Toturi,
across the board, then Toshimoko is really not going to for you. My goodness, he's.
But once he's on the table, he is a problem your opponent has to deal with, or they cannot win a military conflict.
No. He works in political.
Oh, because it's a military duel. Okay,
Yeah,
so
he works in both.
So basically, he can chump block and neutralize any conflicts as long as they can't beat him in a duel.
He's going to be pretty good at strongholds, defending your.
The rub, though, is if you can somehow neutralize that ability, drop a cloud, all of a sudden that defensive line that they were planning on, gone. Oh, stay your blade. Suddenly, we're like, no, we'll do this later. We're busy destroying Caillou and Kikita.
I'm busy raising. Yeah, we'll do that later. No, absolutely. Very good. And obviously, Kikita Toshimoto is a huge lore character.
Yeah.
So he was today in 05R. He was now Hitaru's personal trainer. He was the greatest duelist in the Empire. So his stats in the old game were quite stonky with double cheese. Basically, but 4-3. Crane will always be glad to see slightly more military oriented. They're already strong politically, so he's not. He's no slouch when attacking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's just a cool character overall.
He's super cool. Like he is the epitome of the lone Jew, kind of defeating all comers.
So is he a shoo-in? Does he go straight into Crane decks? Is he that awesome?
I think so. I mean, like a character that can single-handedly defend that you probably shouldn't pass up. Yeah. I mean, like his ability isn't guaranteed to go off. I mean, that's the downside. Like if you're facing Quesada, well, good luck. So,
but yeah, if you can set it up, like it could be game winning, where he holds off on that province, neutralizes your opponent's conflict completely, and then you can use the rest of your team to go over and take their provinces.
Yeah, I mean, he makes assignment an absolute nightmare. Like if you got really province, like you've got a magistrate station that desperately need to get off the table, and you've got Toshimoko standing there going, "Nah," that's not a good feeling. So I mean, for me, I would ask Toshimoko in. Like I'd probably be putting Toshimoko in even if he was crap, just because he's Toshimoko.
Yeah, because it's Toshimoko.
Because it's Toshimoko,
and of course, it is another duel, and we have been talking about a couple of shenanigans and different ways that you can get benefits out of duels. Sneak out a little bit more honor.
Yeah.
I know there are some reactions you can play after duels, but maybe we won't talk about those. Okay. Toshimoko is pretty awesome. Muramoto Hitomi.
Yeah, he is awesome. And he's probably going to be awesome.
I missed all that, but I'm looking at Hitomi anyway, so I don't mind.
Oh, okay. Also incredible.
So Muramoto Hitomi is a 4-cost 4/2 with 1 glory. She is a bushi and a duelist. Action: during a conflict, initiate a military duel against up to 2 characters your opponent controls. Resolve the duel. For each character that loses the duel, the controller must either dishonor or bow it. Wow. So the rules for dueling multiple people, because obviously she's got 2 swords, 2 hands, and she can stab 2 men simultaneously. You take the stats, in this case they're military stats, combine them together, and then you have essentially 1 stat line to duel from, and then you carry on as normal. So nice and simple. This is
that how it works?
So I believe that's how it works.
How much?
Oh, maybe we can go double check it. Let's go double check.
I'm sure she picks 2 people.
and then your opponent sets their dial, and that effect. So basically, say they bid 3, they'll add 3 to both their characters in each duel.
So it's even easier?
I think so.
All right, that shocked me. I have to admit, I glanced through it and I may have misread.
I certainly haven't seen anything in the dueling rules that say there are characters they're particular, and add their duels together like that. So
I'm being crazy. I'm being crazy. All right, let's go double check it.
Yeah.
So it's under.
Just to be sure, but I'm pretty sure she picked and then just that you pick one duel, you set your dial. So I mean the thing is, yeah, I mean I'm not sure, but I think she gives you the possibility of.
So could she lose against one person and win against another?
Oh, okay. Hang on. No, we're getting sorry. In the chat saying that multiple people duels work like character A plus character B, character C. Yeah. So okay. So actually, no. I think you were right in that. You would add the 2 characters together, and she would duel them as a single individual.
Okay. Good.
Okay. That makes her less amazing.
No, it still makes her amazing.
I mean, she's still really good. She's still really good.
And
but again, she's a Toby.
She's a Toby.
She's innately amazing.
It is up to, so you can still choose to duel one person, but you can throw in an extra spud if you stacked her up enough. Interestingly, if you lose, you can choose to dishonor her, and then she has only 1 glory, so she just -1/-1, which isn't terrible. Especially when you can bid your 1 or even your 0. Can you get to 0 with this? Yeah, if you had your like weird dueling techniques. And yeah, it's a first shame effect, so it either dishonor or bow. And if you're dishonored already, you're forced into bowing. So the dragon don't have as much support as say the crane or scorpion do for shame. So dishonoring isn't something you're necessarily going to have down. But obviously, if you can get her ability off multiple times, you can dishonor and then bow multiple characters. She works fantastically with Smuggling Ring, as we were mentioning earlier. She works fantastically with Way of the Dragon. She's just fantastic. I'm really looking forward to getting her around the table.
Yeah, she's good. I like her a lot.
And the whole team, like stabbing 2 people, because she's Muramoto, 2 swords. It's really, really well done. All right, let's move on. Matsusuko, 4 cost, 4/3 with 2 glory, Bushi, Berserker, Daimyo. So she's the Matsu Daimyo. Action. During a conflict in which this character is attacking, if you are more honorable than your opponent, reduce the cost of the next card you play this conflict by 2. So she is a Path of Man. Straight up. It's a 2 cost reduction. What are you going to play that's going to cost 2? Glorious Victory?
You might play Glory. Might be 1. I think she's amazing.
So you're attacking, you're more honorable.
Anything that's
doable. So you can drop it. Drop attachments, drop characters from your hand. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, she's very, very good. I mean, Master of the Spear, the big one with so Master of the Spear just costing 1 fate. Beyond good.
His ability is just send a defender home or something like that, isn't it?
Your opponent chooses yeah. But the fact that like you're paying 1 fate for a 2/2 that's immense.
So I know it's stiff competition, but does this make her one of the best 4 cost characters for the line?
Yeah, I absolutely think. I mean, you can't ignore cards that generate this kind of value. Obviously, you have to be more honorable, but the line have so many tools to achieve that. And just producing up to 2 in conflict that once per turn. That's for
and like if you manage to do this twice, you do it on the first attack, and then the next turn you do it in the second attack. She's essentially paid back her base cost.
She's free. Yeah, she's absolutely the kind of card that I need at the moment. Like, just no silly kind of restrictions. No, I don't know, just no garbageness. Like, no 3 with composure for 3 that doesn't disappear kind of silliness. She generates value. She works in both military and con. Great. She's just super.
So do you start playing 2 cost and 3 cost cards that you wouldn't have been playing before? So we were talking about Glorious Victory being 3, getting cancelled, being really painful. One of the ones that really gets me is that line never play, or rarely play, that 2 cost back banner, Sashimono. Which would be fantastic on her. So she attacks, activates this, drops Sashimono, and then doesn't bow due to conflict resolution.
Yeah, presumably, and then attacks again.
Presumably, it's not seeing play because Let Go has been so popular, and then paying 2 costs for an attachment that's going to get wrecked is horrible. Of course, the flip side with this is where we've seen Hand to Hand is out there, so this discourages Lion from playing that. But is one character like this worth the investment into more expensive cards that could get cancelled or destroyed?
A very limited number.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a borderline-ish card. It's a card you wish you could play, you just feel you can't. And Matsutsuko gives you the kind of safety net that might allow you to put it. So, she could have.
Yeah, as Gordo was saying, just use your ability, and then for greater glory and glorious victory, your entire army.
Yeah, absolutely. And next turn, she's good.
All right, let's see who we have next. Sawa Ujina, a 4-cost, 2/4 Shigenja Void Elemental Master with 2 glory, forced reaction. So you have to do it if you can. After the Void Ring is claimed, choose a character with no fate. Remove that character from the game, unlimited. So tell me what you think.
Wow, I love this character. Maybe not for this. But I love this character. So it's Sawakade, and is the father-daughter spree we've all been waiting for.
So this is Kade's father?
This is Kade's father, yeah. So he is the Master of Void. He's a very storied character in Olar. So he gets corrupted by the Shadow. And becomes the Nameless One.
So yeah, spoilers for people who haven't kept up with the fiction. He was accidentally pulled into the realm of shadows by one of the Scorpion Ninja, and when she left Ujina in there. So, oops.
Yeah. So he becomes corrupted by the nothing, ends up as the Nameless One, who was. Yeah, that's where he came from. So anyway, sorry, an old version. Onto his ability, like the forced reaction makes card kind of scary, but that said, the ability is so banal. Yeah.
So
the thing is, like,
it's when it's claimed. So it doesn't matter who got it, right?
Correct. So it's after it's claimed, so anyone who gets the Void, and then you choose a character with no fate and remove that character from the game. So if you win the basically pick one of their characters on the board with 1 fate and go dead, get off the board. So this wouldn't necessarily be ridiculously insane, except for the fact that the reaction is so you can do this any number of times, where the K-Day combo comes in.
So that's K-Day. Are there any other ways to resolve the Void Ring?
The ring twice? Oh yeah, absolutely. There's all the ring shenanigans to put rings back into the just swap the, like, you can use the world to put the Void Ring back into the pool. and then go and do it again. No, he's an absolute, he's lethal. Like, he's a complete horror show. Once he starts rolling, your opponent's board is just going to evaporate, and they're game pretty soon after, I think.
Yeah, and it is a forced reaction,
like,
but you get to pick the character. So
yes,
there are potential scenarios where you have to resolve it, and the only character on the board without fate is one of yours.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have to use it. I mean, but Phoenix also have display of power. So even if they're coming, I mean, so if they're coming across and they're going to void like
the only character,
fate, and they're going to void him and force you to get him off the table. And you just go, no, I'll display that, void your guy, and get him. He's bananas. I mean, like, K-Day is a character that I think is a little underrated, because it's like she's very poor in certain matchups, but she's absolutely dominating in other matchups. And Ugina is the kind of character that, in combination with her, is just they'll just annihilate boards.
Yeah,
your board will literally.
Now it is pretty terrifying to lose a character, but with the way the fate system works, essentially you're just losing a turn with that character, as it were, and you also lose a turn if you bow a character. So how does Ugina compare to the Elemental Master of Water, who lets you bow an additional character, is it? Or you can choose to bow someone?
Yeah, you can. So the I mean, it's not a huge difference, but it is a difference.
Okay.
But straighten effect, the Ring of Water can be used to straighten people. But the fact that you're actually getting them off the board is, I don't know, for me. And yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. I'd have to say, I don't know why. It is purely an intuition that this guy is way better than she. And
Azunami.
But actually, no. It's the fact that it's unlimited. It's all down to the fact. So, like,
well, that's not entirely true. It's limited insofar as you can only kill so many of your opponent's cards till eventually they've got no cards left.
Yeah, but the Master of Water is going to go off once per. So Gina can potentially go 3 times.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's again, it's all to do by straightened. Once a character is off the board, it's off the board, and then it becomes a kind of a tipping point. Like, if you've got someone like K-Day on the other side of the board as well as Gina, then your opponent is in a position where they either invest lots of fate into and watch that fate get stripped off, and those characters go in the bin really K-Day, or they put no fate on guys and watch their characters disappear really fast as Gina just murders them.
Yeah.
So they're in a situation where they can never build a board. And it's just, for me, Eugenia's, it's the fact that it's unlimited and the fact that Phoenix have quite a bit of control over Ring and how they work that makes him far better.
And this is a 4-cost Elemental Master. The other Elemental Masters have been 5-cost, right?
Sorry? Yes, they have. They've all been 5.
So is Ugina a bargain basement Elemental Master?
I don't know. Like, I don't know why he's a 4-cost master. Maybe he just fits the design spread of characters they were doing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because we've seen all these characters here are 4-cost across the board.
Yeah,
all 4-cost.
But his ability is incredible. So.
All right.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's genuinely amazing.
So, next character in the line we have is Shisoro Hamatsu. So this is a 4-cost, 2/3 with 1 glory. It is a daimyo of the Shisoro and a shinobi. So this is 1 more ninja for the ninja decks. Action: lose 1 honor. Search your conflict deck for a poison card. Deal it and add it to your hand. Shuffle. So we've already seen 1 poison turn up here. We know that. Okay, what are the other ones? There's burning madness. All the poison cards quickly.
Yeah, so there's
Fiery Madness.
Fiery Madness, and there's
Bad Koku?
Tainted Koku.
Tainted Koku. There we go.
I think those are the only 3 that are out there. So, you pay 1 honor, draw a card. You're picking which card you're drawing. That's not bad. That's decent. He's Shinobi, so he doesn't have the Courtier trait that the Scorpion typically are looking for, but the Shinobi trait is getting more and more useful. So, you know, he is a target to drop your 0-cost convert on. That's pretty good. If you're going for that poison we were talking about earlier, you're telegraphing to your opponent that you have in hand. So they will know that as soon as they activate one of their characters, that you're going to bow them. Does that make it better or worse?
Strictly, it makes it worse. It absolutely. But what it does is it initiates a little sub game then, where your opponent, if they have the capacity to, will attempt to bait out the bowing thing. I get names. Will attempt to bait that out with lesser abilities while reserving the big abilities they want for later. Obviously, your opponent not knowing his big ability, which they are more likely to play sooner. I think what really lets Haimetsu down are his stats. 2, 3 for 4 is pretty abysmal. And at the moment, I'm not sure it's there in the points that are available. I mean, they're good, no doubt, but not sure. I mean, his ability to lose 1 honor, that helps you get below your 6 honor threshold, which activates a couple of cards, which is nice, but it also drops you toward the Dane. So there may be situations where you're being pressured on honor where his ability becomes a liability.
He's probably not a shoe-in to the current decks. He definitely has potential with the Shinobi deck, especially as the poisons begin to increase, which is probably about right for Scorpion, I think. So we're supporting a sub-team. Has potential, but maybe isn't right there yet.
I would agree. Yeah, I think so. I think he's decent, but just not good enough to break now. But that could definitely change.
Yeah, and any tutor abilities are absolutely worthwhile keeping an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, I think once, if Scorpion gets by what they've already got, then I think the days like this.
All right.
Are past the range of the so.
All right, let's go on to Utaku Kamoko. So she is a 4-cost 3/3 with 3 glory. She's a Bushi Cavalry Battle Maiden. While this character is dishonored, do not subtract her glory from skills. Reaction: after opponent breaks one of your provinces, choose and discard a card from your hand. Ready and honor this character. She seems pretty awesome. So you're probably going to lose provinces at some point, and you can also break your own provinces. What the particular unicorn province is called straight off the hand, but when you resolve it and end up breaking it as a cost, it does actually count for her ability. Then she becomes a 6/6 and straightened again. That's kind of awesome. One of the liabilities we've seen with the Battle Maidens before was the idea that if they got dishonored, and we've typically seen this with the Phoenix characters a lot, if they get dishonored, then they essentially become blank, and this would be the case with her. So I think that's why they've added that extra clause. If she gets dishonored, she's still going to be 3/3. She's still going to be useful. She seems like a really awesome character.
Oh, she's bananas. She's like the other 2 characters you would compare her to are Needna Master and Prodigy of the Waves, and I would say she is maybe the best of the 3. She certainly has the highest upside, I think, of all 3.
Now, obviously, the trigger effect is a little little trickier, because obviously you will get decks like the Scorpion decks that are just constantly trying to farm your provinces and not break them, which means she's not going to trigger that. Endless Plains, that's the province I was thinking of. But you do get to play Endless Plains, which I think has fallen out of popularity. It may drift back in again for Komoko. I honestly don't like provinces where you're actively trying to break them yourself as an effect. That doesn't seem great. And I think that's one of the reasons the Unicorn players, drifted away from it. So that might not make a showing for this. But this with the Boar Rider, the Shiotomi Heroine, the Shiotomi Encampment, is that what it is? Like, that's a lot of straighten effects that Unicorn are getting. That's pretty impressive.
It really is. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the most powerful, and it's one of the best ways to bring a clan up and give them straight effects.
Yeah,
because it's such a powerful economic, which is, but Komoko is just smackingly good, and she should be, because she is the Unicorn Clan Thunder. Whenever we get in the story, at least she was. So yeah, she's. I mean, old 5R players still have nightmares about Komoko turn to it, purity of spirit, take your province, la 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 la.
Yeah.
So she's she's superb. There's really just to say other than that.
Right.
Like, most decks are coming to break your provinces. And she punishes you brutally for doing that, for doing something that your opponent does.
Yeah,
regardless.
you could just keep trading provinces this way, and the Unicorn are definitely going to come ahead if you try to do that.
Yeah. So she better. Is she the best forecast so far? I'd say it's a close run thing between.
No, Hitomi is obviously the best.
I mean, in fairness, like, they're all amazing. Like, the only bad one of these, I want to say bad, the only kind of poor one of these we've seen so far is Haimetsu.
His time will come. Wait and see.
Time will come. His time will come. But we've got one more to, or do we?
The last one is a Kodo Toturi.
Is it Toturi? Do we not have Yakamo yet?
We don't. We've seen the French version of him, so we could probably actually read out what he does, because the details are up there.
Because
let me go.
He's important, because
he does round out the set. That's true.
Yeah, he's a vital counterpart to Tony.
He's scum, and he knows he is. And actually, yeah, this is one of the best things about Alpha War, the fact that I still hate Yakumo after all these years.
Oh yeah, Travis has got it up for us. Okay.
Okay, read it out
opponent.
First.
Okay, while you are less honorable than an opponent, this character does not bow as a result of military conflicts, and this character cannot be the loser, but your character can still be the winner. Okay, so while less honorable, this character does not result in is just amazing. So, he defends like a champ, he attacks like a champ, the winning and losing duels, and I think Duelist Bushi.
Yeah, Duelist and Bushi.
4-2-1. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, yeah, Baz. Travis, well, he's a 4-2-1. So, yeah, Yakamo can't lose to Hitomi, which is thematically spot on. Story-wise spot on.
While the Crab are dishonorable scum, but if they had any honor, then he'd lose.
Yeah, absolutely, but they don't. So it's perfect.
That's fair. Yeah, it's beautiful. Like they off wonderfully.
Like a character that doesn't bow from military conflict is just superb. Anyway, like we've seen Agasha Sumiko, who can be just crushed.
Yeah, and the conditions for Sumiko is having the favor. That can be quite tricky, especially holding on to it. But being dishonorable, like, keep bidding high. Try not to hit 0. You'll be fine. Yeah, that's definitely something that could do.
It's very doable.
Add a few assassinates to the deck. No probs.
Absolutely. I was just do crab stuff. Just get those Cooney labs out there. Assassinate things. Bid high. Live the uproarious bohemian life a crab was always meant to live.
Yeah,
crush your relentlessly beneath the iron heel of Yakamo. So yeah. He's pretty good.
Yeah, exciting times. And yeah, he's going to go straight into the crab decks. They're going to love him. He's a berserker as well, I think, isn't he? Berserker and a duelist. Travis didn't list it, but I think he.
It's a Bushi duelist.
All right. The last one we have is Kodo Toturi. So Toturi is a 5 cost compared to all the others. 6/3 with 3 glory. This is a neutral card, so anyone can play it. It's a little bit awkward for the line because it is the same name as the line of Kodo Toturi. They can include up to 3 copies in any combination. Yeah.
Oh, Travis just said, yeah, he has Berserker as well.
So Kodo Toturi is a Bushi champion and Imperial. And action, he's Imperial, so he'll boost Seppa Nishikawa. Crucially important. All right, action during a conflict in which this character is
more importantly,
yeah.
Sorry, more importantly, he can be dug out by.
Sorry, lost you.
Did we lose you, Baz? Oh no,
dug out by.
He can be dug out by Maya Satoshi.
Oh, Maya Satoshi.
Go digging for him.
Of course. All right, yeah, that is less important to Seppa Nishikawa, who's the most important Imperial card ever. All right. Action during a conflict in which his character is participating. If you have the Imperial favor, each player cannot play cards from his or her hand until the end of the conflict. So you have to have the Imperial favor, but as soon as you use that, no more cards from the hand. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, jeebus. That's quite the ability. I mean, yeah. So at that stage, it just becomes, that's it. So
yeah, just get ahead by enough, and then just lock it down.
Yeah. So obviously, he makes abilities that way more. So like if you're Lion and you're playing this version of Toturi, then Sunuri, for example, can just boost all your guys massively. If you're Phoenix, you've got what's-her-face, Atsuko, who will do the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, like attacking into someone's stronghold, where this guy is obviously going to apply his finishing chokehold to best effect.
Yeah, and then all the
your opponent,
dual abilities.
Your opponent is going to get 1 action off at a minimum, but
which you can censure because you've got the favor.
Because you got the favor, and then you just lock it down. Toturi puts and just cradles your opponent into the grave. So yeah, he just shuts stuff down.
So yeah, we were just mentioning briefly Agasha Sumiko, who is also a 5 cost, but she's a 4/4. But again, needs the Imperial favor, and she is incredibly effective in Dragon decks. So Toturi definitely could see play like this, and especially for any deck that has a lot of actions on board. And as we're beginning to see with the kind of dueling focus, you can actually drop a bunch of attachments that give you jewels down onto your characters, and then walk over, activate Toturi, and then just slowly start picking apart their board with the actions you have already on the table.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds fun.
It does, doesn't it? Not so much for your opponent, but it's going to be great. But yeah, like he's very, very powerful, but he's the Emerald Champion. Like he's in the Emerald Champion's armor.
Yep.
He is the word of law basically in the Empire. So yeah, he just comes along, says, "I'm in charge here," and that's the end of that. So very, very powerful.
This is a really impressive range of characters. I'm super hyped by this pack because the characters that they've got in it are really flavorful. They're awesome abilities. The majority of them, if not all of them, will go into decks. It's some pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, like overall, by the preview, so really like flavorfully designed cards, which they've been great at from the start, in fairness. But we're starting to see some really well considered, and like we're starting to see designs that which is something that we hadn't seen as much before. But every everything's really starting to cohere, or there are a lot of things that are starting to now.
And as far as we understand, this is from inception to where we are now. This is Tyler Parrott's work, so he's working hard for us. All right, let's start wrapping things up. WarpCon. We are going to be at WarpCon. We will do some coverage. We will shake hands and be nice to people. If you haven't got a ticket yet and have the opportunity to, please do. Because it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Do we know how many people we're going to have yet, Gordo?
So Gordo was saying that there are 78, but more booking. So there were still some more today. So we can.
Oh, awesome! So we're expecting at least over 80.
Yeah, I would hope so.
That's healthy. A lot more
Not
than
bad.
I was. A lot more than I was hoping for. Quite frankly, I was hoping for like
so,
one dragon.
Yeah, so Gordon was saying expect it to reach 90 to 100 by the time the event rolls around. So
that's really good.
That's quite a drop on last year, but that was always to be expected. But still, 100 is super healthy for a Cote in Ireland.
Yeah, although I suspect WarpCon is a bit of an exception because a lot of the people coming back, well, I think are mostly coming back for the social and for the good time, because while the games are good and the guys organize it well, it's all about the fun.
It is.
Are we going to have a Hatamoto area? Yes, we are almost certainly going to make sure Gordo makes a Hatamoto area. Owen was heavily involved in that last time round and put a lot of work into making sure that the Hatamotos who were there had a totally pimped out area. We weren't actually the only place that did it. I believe Bologna did it as well. I saw that they had a nice one. Not as nice as WarpCon's last year, but yeah, I'm certain that we'll have something nice. But we'll have a lot more Hatamoto this round, so we'll have to make sure Owen stacks up on food and drink. Well, we've got I've been putting up a few articles recently that are good for beginner players. There is one on just a brief introduction into the game, how to get started. There's one on how to buy in, how to get your packs. And basically these are all decks where you get your 3 cores and then get 3 packs rather than getting everything. And you're able to put together a pretty competitive deck from there, which is pretty cool. The most recent one I put up was just a list of small decisions. This game has so many decision points in it, and it can be pretty overwhelming for new players. But there are a couple of small basics, like, what do you bid? Should you go first or second? What ring do you declare? And while the answers that I've given aren't going to work 100% of the time, it'll get you through 70% of the games that you're going to be playing, and will certainly help. I think that's us. Do you have anything else you want to say before we go?
No, I do not.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for listening, and people who will be at WarpCon, we will see you there.
Absolutely. All right. Have a great week, everyone.